So I'm trained to be a product designer, that's my background. But I started to work with food. So people would say, a designer working with food. You're a food designer, which kind of makes sense, but it would also imply that I would actually design food. But I think food is perfectly designed by nature. I don't need to design the food itself. What I'm much more interested in is to design the act of eating, or what eating can do. That would be the next conference. So I work from the verb of eating. It's not working. Somebody there to help me? There it is. So I work from the verb of eating, which could be harvesting food, sharing food at the table, cooking food, preparing food, transporting food, and also taking food to the bathroom after you eat it. So you could also say that I design shit, because everything I make will eventually vanish into the bathroom, which I'm really happy about. I'm really happy that as a designer that I don't make any products that will last. All my projects are ephemeral and will not leave their marks in the waste bin. So I'm just going to share a couple of projects with you so you have an idea about what I'm talking about. And hopefully we'll have time to also give you some tools to start to think about using food yourself as a creative person or as a person with a mouth. So this is a project I did for a Christmas dinner. I always rejected to do Christmas dinners because I thought, well, you know, what can a designer do about a Christmas dinner? You know, it's already overly designed with all the decorations and the turkeys and the Christmas crackers and the Christmas trees. And when Droog asked me to do a project for them about Christmas dinner, I thought, well, what is Christmas really about? And for me, Christmas is about being together and sharing together. So I made a very simple intervention. I took a long table, I put a tablecloth on it, but instead of putting the tablecloth down to the floor as it normally goes, I took it up into the air and made some slits in it. So this is the setting. It's just a table with a tablecloth, but this is how people need to enter the space, so you make a kind of new space. And the reason for doing this is because when you go with your heads into the tablecloth, you're physically connected to each other. Because if I pull here, you can feel it there. But it also makes you more equal, because your identity gets revealed through the way you're clothing or you're choosing your clothes. And in this way, everybody becomes kind of equal because you can only see your head. And also, being in a funny situation with 40 people that don't know each other makes you connect because you're all in the same strange situation. So it's actually nicer if you go to the bathroom and see all the bags sitting there. It's not only the setting, and it's also the food, and this also shows that I don't design this food. You know, this lady only has 2 slices of melon, and it's nice, simple melon. But the plate that she has been served is cut in 2, and everybody on her side of the table has a plate that's cut in 2. Everybody on the other side of the table has the same plate, but has ham, raw ham. Well, ham and melon is a classical combination, so people just start to share their food and start to interact with each other. Well, the main dish is the same idea. So the first person got a huge piece of rib. The next person would get a whole lettuce. It would be clean, but it would have croutons and dressing and everything on top. The third person would get a pumpkin completely stuffed with nuts and seeds from the oven. And the last person would get the potatoes. So people are social animals. You don't have to tell them what to do. They will start to cut everything up, and they will start to share everything and start to interact with each other. I'm getting lots of inspiration from daily life. I'm not so interested that much in high cuisine or super culinary creations. I like to go to the supermarket and see what's there. And when I go there, I see that lately we have a lot of vegetarian alternatives. We have this section next to the meat section with exact copies of meat made from soy protein or other kinds of protein. And it strikes me that these products are exact copies. So you have burgers, you have sausage, you have mince, you have fillets, you have schnitzels. Everything is there, but you always feel that you're eating a kind of surrogate, that you're not eating the real thing. For me, it feels that it's a kind of soulless product. So I thought, well, you know, if you have this protein structure, this soy protein, and you can make any shape, why don't we just invent new animals and make them decide what the products look like and how they taste? So here you can see the herbast. The herbast is an animal that lives in southern Albania, and there it has to cover itself up for predators. So it has a camouflage fur made from herbs because it runs through the herbal fields. And because it has the herbs growing on the fur, it's a pre-seasoned stir-fry chops. And also this animal is square-shaped, which means that it's easy to pack, easy to transport, and easy to cut and share on the table to get everybody an even share. Then we have the ponti. The ponti is a small rodent-like animal that lives in empty volcanoes in Hawaii, where it feeds itself on the ashes of the volcano, and therefore the meat of this animal is very lightly and delicately smoked. And this animal has a very firm tail because it has to make burrows in the strong magma layers, and it also uses this tail for defense. And this tail is perfect as a party snack because you can just pick it up by the tail and have your hands clean. And then we have the bikyo, which is a vegetarian fish. And the bikyo lives in the shallow waters of Japan, where it feeds itself on the seaweed that grows there. And because it eats a lot of seaweeds, and the real connoisseur can also see that because of it has the beautiful green stripes, it has a very high level of antioxidants. And also it has a very good aesthetic shape to use in sushi or sashimi, for example. This is what it looks like in the supermarket. And this is the sapiku, which is a bird. And this bird lives in the maple trees in Canada, where it feeds itself on the sap of the trees, and therefore it's very sweet and tender meat, which is a perfect dessert meat. And it goes very well with chocolate and ice cream. This is the making of the prototypes. I've made them with marzipan for now. But later on today you can try real pontis that I've been making with a producer of soy products. So we're actually developing them. And then, well, it took us some time to catch them because they're really hard to catch and to kill. But we have 100 of them, so you can get a roasted ponti later on at the ponti party. So here are some marshmallow clouds. They're made with real rainwater, which we have plenty of here in Holland. Marshmallow icebergs, they melt in your hot chocolate to give you some inner global warming. Sugar spoons that you can dissolve in your tea, then you don't have any dishes to do. A sugar gun, which is a lollipop, which shows you what sugar does to your body. It is actually quite disturbing to see kids with this lollipop. And this is the project that Dagan also was talking about. This is a project I did in Rotterdam in the Historical Museum. They had an exhibition about the Second World War, and as you might know, Rotterdam has been in a very severe hunger winter at the end of the war, where many people died of starvation. And I went to the Resistance Museum and I asked them for some original war recipes. I didn't design anything about them. I just prepared the recipes precisely and I made them into little snacks. So when you would come in, you would get a coupon. And with this coupon, you would get your ration of food and some surrogate coffee. And what happened there was that some people were children during the time of war. And I didn't expect this to happen. But once they started to eat this food, once they started to taste the food that they didn't have in their mouth for over 65 years, they got back memories of that time. they were thinking back of the time that they were children. And it was as if some locks were opening in their brains, and they got memories of their mothers who already passed away, or of their parents or their grandparents or their brothers and sisters. And for me, realizing that using food as a material, as a designer, and being able to actually enter one's body and evoke memories there was such a valuable experience for me, that for me food is just the best thing to work with as a designer, because I'm surprised that designers, they always make things for human beings. They make cars and houses and clothes and everything for the user, the human being user. But the thing that we really need to live, food, is not a serious subject for design yet, which really surprises me. And this project really was a reason to realize that this is the way for me to work. This is my lovely daughter, Juni. She's already 8 now, and she's much bigger than you can see here. She was about 3 years old here, and as cute as she was, she didn't want to eat her vegetables. And I thought, well, that's really bad marketing for me. I have to do something about that. And I read that children need to taste something 7 times before they will accept a new flavor. And also I saw that once you put a child in the setting of a dining table, they will already start to resist because they know this is the war zone. And they don't have so much to say about their lives, but they can decide whether they want to open their mouth or not. And if you don't open your mouth, then your parents will start to behave very interestingly. So children have good reasons for not eating their vegetables. So what I did is I invited my daughter together with all her friends from her daycare, and I told them that we're going to do a workshop, and I called it a veggie bling bling workshop. So also the boys were interested to go and make jewelry from vegetables. And the tools that they got to make these vegetables were their teeth, because kids have really sharp little teeth that they can use for chewing. So we were not eating, we were not at the dining table, the food was there to play with. And I have seen many kids starting to make a ring and then forgetting that they were making the ring and nibbling it away, and then it was gone. And so I can proudly say, it's cute, isn't it? Yeah. Juni eats her vegetables now, so it's a success story. Otherwise, I wouldn't have shown it. This is a project I want to end with, which is a project I did in Budapest. And you need to know that in Hungary, gypsies are severely being rejected by society. It's really a very serious problem. And that's good to know when you're watching this.
This is a performance around a group of Roma gypsy women. I think if you want to think about understanding between different social groups, I think food is a very, very strong tool that you can use to create a bond between people. To create understanding for gypsy people, I think to use food is one thing, but then to be fed by someone is another thing. And I think that's why also it's only women, because it's mothers that feed their children. It's this kind of essence of life. I think the idea of feeding is a very intimate. A mother feeds her child with food, but also with love at the same time. I thought about making this installation where people are getting physically fed with food, but also with stories.
Az almával az a kedves emlékem, hogy összegyűltünk így gyerekek. És engem a nagy gyerekek nagyon-nagyon szerettek valamiért, mert azért még betyárka voltam, és vittek magukkal, és kerestek egy nagy házat, ahol nagyon sok a almafa. És beloktunk, és hát leszettük az almát, és majd jött a parasztember, és így nagyon kellett rohanni, nagyon-nagyon futottunk, szóval életem első olyan futás és utolsó, és akkor futottam. És utánam kiabálta, vagy utánunk kiabálta, hogy te büdös cigány, és kiderült, hogy csak én voltam cigány.
The installation is made in a way that you can't see each other. You're sitting under the table, you have this little tent. Inside there are pictures and text and a flashlight, and it's a kind of strange environment. And then you sit there and the lady tells you her memories and the memories of the food that she has, and she will include you in her life in that way.
Karácsony volt, és bejött egy ilyen, nem tudom, ilyen tenyeres talpas nőre emlékszem valójában. És volt egy lány, akivel folyamatosan együtt mentünk házról házra, mi az intézetről intézetre, vagy nem tudom, hogy mondjam neked. Ő szőke volt. És akkor bejött, azt kérem, meg azt kérem. És akkor így valamiért kellett mennünk vele, kimentünk ő hozzá, és egész nap takarítani kellett, vagy jöttek a vendégek, és betettek minket egy ilyen hideg szobába, de nagyon éhesek voltunk. Vissza is vittek minket este, és annyira gyönyörű volt, annyira szép, csodálatos szép, mert csak mindenkinek lehet ilyen karácsonya, hogy így kinyílt a díszterem ajtaja, és megláttam a magas fát, csodálatosan feldíszítve, és sok-sok gyerek ott eszik, és kiabál, és beszélget, és jól érzi magát. És a slusszpoén az, hogy csak akkor ehettem narancsot. Karácsonykor ehettem csak narancsot, és kaptunk mindenféle tárgyakat, ilyen hülyeségeket, és én elcseréltem narancsra. Elkezdtem így, hogy neked adom ezt, te add nekem a narancsot, és rengeteg narancs volt.
If you have had that experience and someone shared her food with you and her story with you, you cannot hate that person. You have to like that person. It's Immanuel Kant that said that if you break bread with each other, you can't break each other's neck.
Adok egy olyan dalt, amire gyerekkoromban mindig elhallgatott egy nevelőnél. Jó? Csukd be a szemed. Légy szíves. Szél viszi messzi a fellegeket, s mögötte lángol az ég. Nyújtsd ide, édes, a kis kezedet, ki tudja, látlak-e még? Ki tudja, ölele a két karom, ki tudja, csokol-e a szád galambom, ki tudja, mely nap és mely hajnalán indul az után tovább. Örültem, hogy itt voltál. Azt szeretném, ha nyugodtan itt ülni, majd jön egy kísérő, aki elkísér.
Nagyon jó volt, mert hát tényleg olyan volt, mint egy kuckó, tehát így azonnal egy ilyen nagyon személyes térbe kerültem, ami teljesen azonnal magával ragadott ezekkel a fényképekkel, meg pont szembe velem egy szoptatós kép volt, meg nagyon jó mondatok voltak, meg látszott, hogy gyerekrajz, szóval azonnal egy életet éreztem. Olyan volt valóban, mint hogyha a saját anyukám lenne, vagy én, mint mikor anyuka voltam, vagy most is az vagyok, mikor odalépett hozzám az Ágnes, gondolom ő volt az, ilyen nagyon kedves volt, és etetett, és nagyon szép volt.
What happened here is that when we started to do this, that the ladies were participating. They said, I don't think that anybody is interested to hear our story. And that we noticed that everybody was very interested to hear the stories. And normally gypsies are the receiving party. So they get money, they get charity, or they get old stuff that people don't use anymore. But now they were the giving party. They were giving their motherly love, their food, and their stories, and that really empowered them. So it made a big impression on me. So that's my story.